Welcome back, everybody. Here's Seaichfilms' review of Chapter 2 of the hit show Mandalorian. Joining me is Chris, my Aussie buddy from another muddy.
You guys!
Mandalorian.
C-3PO telling Ewoks about cats has to be one of my favorite childhood memories of all time, dude. So
What's funny is that's exactly how I remember it, too. So The Mandalorian.
The
Mandalorian continues to be the best show not on TV, would you say?
Oh my god. So, how I went into episode 2, chapter 2. I went into chapter 2 expecting, again, I love these words, expectation management, expecting to be disappointed. And instead I come away with just like a shocking look on my face. Oh my god. Again, the mystery and the mystique, the opening scenes, the Trandoshan vibroblade battle. Oh,
would you say
god.
that Chapter 2 maybe surpassed Chapter 1, which is hard to believe because Chapter 1 was just so amazing.
No, it did, because it's like I call it falling down the rabbit hole. When you go onto Wikipedia or even Facebook or any form of like a digital media whatsoever, and you start reading, IMDb is a great one, right? You start reading about a particular species on Wikipedia, and then you're reading down that page, and then you see the name of another link to another species, and you click that, and then 90 minutes later, you've just spent the last 90 minutes falling down the rabbit hole that is Wikipedia, okay? And that's what this episode does. It just dives further down the rabbit hole. Here's some Trandoshians with vibroblades. By the way, weapons that I always thought looked so sissy and so like soft in like the hands of these like Gamorrean gods, in Jabba's palace. I was like, those things aren't dangerous. I'm not scared of those. I'm scared of them now. That was like a again, like okay, so like IG-11 might have been the droid John Wick of the Star Wars universe in Chapter 1. After this epic battle scene, though, like the Mandalorian was a knife fight, right? Is the John Wick of the Star Wars universe. He takes the crown, okay, and runs with it. And that was such a great opening scene because, again, it was suspenseful. And Mandalorian is wearing, just like his Mando armor, plot armor. However, you're still scared. It's so tense. It's so well cut. It's so well made.
Because you got the baby Yoda in the little basket being flung around, making sure he doesn't get caught in the crossfire. It was very well designed. One big thing that I loved about that fight was the Trandoshans themselves. Like, you see them in Rebels and you see them in Clone Wars, but I've never really seen them in live action, in action. And that was stupendous, because all you really saw of Trandoshans was an Empire with him, tapping his foot and someone being disgusted. Now they're running around with vibroblades, attacking Mandalorians and Baby Yodas. Like, that was fantastic. The action sequence was executed perfectly. I don't know, like, it was awesome to see characters like IG-11, the IG droid units, and Trandoshans finally in action, and I would say it did it justice. One question I had for you is just like as a theory kind of thing. These little devices that they're using to find the Baby Yoda, how do you suppose those work? How do they know, how is it tracking Yoda specifically?
That was the mystery and the plot thickening even further, because then is this like a third bounty that's going out? Are there 3 different, and obviously this one was a kill order, because the Trandoshan is running at Baby Yoda trying to get the job done.
Yeah, and same thing with IGs. IGs was a kill order too.
Right, so like how many factions are trying to get their hands on Baby Yoda?
That makes you ask, like, did Carl Weathers, spill the beans about this job? Because in the first episode, you see Trandoshan's like, what is he doing with the Mandalorian? He's giving him some kind of special job. These are the same guys. These are different guys. Did Carl Weathers kind of rat him out?
What I love is that, like, again, it's a little breadcrumb, and we're gonna follow it. We're gonna pull that thread. We're gonna see what happens. Okay. But how are they tracking? Again, I hope that does get revealed. But once again, your imagination is firing. That's what Star Wars does. Are they tracking? Is it literally DNA? Is it blood? Does everybody have a tracking, embedded in them. Like, are we all like chipped like little dogs? I don't know. Like, who knows in this particular? That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. But
I would love to actually hear the comment section on this one. Like, that's something that I was wondering like a lot in the first episode. Do you guys have any idea how these tracking mechanisms work and how they're able to find Baby Yoda specifically just using this device?
Or how are they able to find any of their bounties?
Yeah.
Because,
that's how we found the first
chapter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's DNA. I'm thinking it's some form of like you need a sample of their DNA, of their blood, and that's how you kind of go about it. But what comes next, though? Again, like it looks as though the Mandalorian walks away from the fight like unscathed, but then we see him like a badass, like patching himself up later that night. And
you
one
see
of the vibro blades,
the dents and the damage to his armor. Like, it was cool seeing the inner workings of bounty hunter or Mandalorian armor, because obviously there are pieces made out of Beskar which are like almost impenetrable, but then these other red pieces which he's trying to replace or to modify, they're pretty vulnerable to attack. And so it's almost like every other frame he's having to patch something up and get something fixed up. And he does in some cases come out unscathed, but I like the fact that in a lot of cases he's just getting the crap kicked out of him, which is very real absolutely. And relatable. That was
a thematic of chapter 2. The Mandalorian is very human and very vulnerable,
which is very, very cool. Now, in that sequence of himself patching him up, Baby Yoda in the little crib keeps wanting to come out and try and use some kind of force healing power. And I don't know if the Mandalorian understands what he's doing, but the cuteness meter level, whatever you want to call it, was just off the rails. My wife kept interrupting during the episode. I was like, baby, I'm trying to watch. She's like, no, get on Amazon right now and order 10 of these Baby Yoda plushes if they're in service, because I need 20 of them for Christmas. That is huge.
They are super cute. And we get our first hint at, because I don't think the Mandalorian understands what's happening. He thinks Baby Yoda's just like kind of going like a little bit. There's a throwback to E.T. Like, ouch, okay, ouch. Like, he's like, but he thinks he's just jumping out and trying to, like, because he cares. He's trying. They're bonding. It's a bonding moment. But straight away from chapter 1, and a lot of the images that I saw, and I went back and rewatched as well. Straight away, I was recognizing the wee little robes that little baby, we'll just keep calling him Baby Yoda for now, wee little Baby Yoda had on were very, very similar to the robes that Yoda is wearing and Yaddle are wearing as well in episode 1. The Jedi robes, so straight away I was feeling the Force vibe immediately. And of course the lore around their unknown species, according to the Galactic Imperial database, unknown species are that they are Force sensitive. This was like a nice little bonding moment. My God, I've already told you, Seaich, that you need to put out a video. So hopefully we can do this. We're going to look into whether or not we're going to put out a video that loops in an hour loop of Baby Yoda sleeping and breathing. I want to fall asleep to that. Every single night.
That's what I was going to say. Like, you see those videos at Christmas time of just a fireplace, and some people love that.
Yes.
Like, Baby Yoda,
yes,
lulling you to sleep, please.
Oh my God, he's breathing. His little mouth as well. When he absolutely is. He's everything combined. He's Mogwai. He's Yoda that you love as well, so that's pulling on those heartstrings. He's Gremlin, he's Mogwai, he's Porg, he's absolutely everything. By the way, I still, something you and I kept speaking about, they have mixed the use of animatronic, and props with CGI.
Seamlessly.
You see seamlessly. You see the hair on little Yoda like just rustling ever so slightly in a breeze, and you're just blown away. It was like straight away, like you just start off the episode with an insanely tense knife fight, and then this hint and this bonding over the fire and this hint at Force sensitivity, and then it gets into further down the Wikipedia rabbit hole. Look at you, both of us went like this. This scene that was just like forever Jawas have been the laughing stock of like the laughing stock of the Star Wars galaxy. However, director, I always had this feeling I had this feeling the Jawas were way more badass than anybody gave them credit for. Okay, and as well, we saw Jawas. We always thought they were native to Tatooine. No, these guys are all around. These guys get around the galaxy. Okay,
yeah, they seem to like take over any industrial part of any world and try to make a living. And right? I don't know, like I was gonna ask you, like here in the States. Yeah. Particularly, let's say like New York, if you park your car in the wrong neighborhood and leave it there, you can expect your tires gone, your windows gone, your doors gone by the time you come back. Is there a place in Oz you can recall it's the same way?
Not quite that bad. There are certain parts of Europe where I would park my car, definitely, and it'd be stripped. But that's hilarious.
That's straight up GTA Jawa edition. Yeah, like that was amazing. Man. Him walking back and absolutely flabbergasted that these little punks are stripping his ship dry. And what followed was probably one of my favorite moments in any Star Wars medium ever. He doesn't even think about it. He brings out the rifle, the one that we just saw disintegrate a Trandoshan, and starts blasting these little Jawas from 300 yards out.
Let's talk about, again, the video game aspects. Like Favreau did his homework here. The disintegration side of things is something that you've only ever seen in the Jedi Knight video games. There are certain guns that you have to charge up.
I do remember that, yeah.
Disintegrate, right? That's there. So there's like a whole swath of Star Wars fans who played those games going, nice right there. He's blowing away the Jawas. And then what happens is, like, I couldn't believe how they managed to mold so many genres into one episode. It's a freaking castle siege. It's throwbacks to like Luke climbing up the side of the giant skiff, at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, throwing Jawas out of windows, okay? Like, it's absolutely a medieval castle siege, like up on the parapet.
Did you catch the Indiana Jones reference from The Last Crusade?
No. Oh my God, which one?
Okay, he's climbing the side of the sand crawler, and there's that ledge of the rock that's coming over that they're gonna try and ram him into, and he gets on top. It's the same scene in The Last Crusade.
There's another Lucasfilm shout out right there, man. I mean, like, again, see, these nostalgic boxes that keep getting ticked, like, you need to understand, like, this is an entertainment medium. I'm A-okay that I'm being manipulated like this. Those boxes need to be ticked. Sometimes subconsciously you don't even realize, but subconsciously you're like, oh, wow, this feels incredible. Why does this feel incredible? I hadn't even made that connection. You're blowing me away here, director. And then he gets all the way to the top, and there's this posse of Jawas, and they stun gun him, thank God. That was hilarious. And then he wakes up, and Baby Yoda is... I love the way Baby Yoda is just, like, careening after him as well. I mean, we need real-world baby strollers that just follow you levitating, because, like, then your baby's behind you, you're safe. And there's all the iconic, like, sun-swept desert scenes that come next. But the one thing I loved about these Jawas was... I'm a massive Star Wars toy collector, okay? Like, huge collection. And one thing that I built many moons ago, many cycles ago, is I built a posse of Jawas, armed to the teeth. I customized these. These are the 3 3/4 inch like classic size ones, but obviously they're only an inch tall. But I customized them with the baddest loadout of like Clone War era, Imperial era, and in some even like Old Republic era weaponry, vibroblades, guns, blasters, you name it. I even had like one of them had like a collection of lightsaber hilts from like I built like the underworld of the Jawas. Okay, so to see them armed to the teeth and
actually take down a Mandalorian.
Oh my God! And then. Oh man, I couldn't believe
it was legitimately one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Like from starting with the Jawas freaking out, not knowing who's shooting at them. You see one through the scope that's just kind of like firing in the air, like I don't know what to do. To the chase, to the nostalgia scenes, to him throwing Jawas out the side of the sandcrawler, like all of it was absolutely fantastic. And it gets back into the pacing of what I like about The Mandalorian, because there's shorter episodes. I do wish they'd be longer, but every single like scene feels appropriately paced, and that was so amazing. And then it leads into he's been defeated by Jawas, and he's sitting there just like, God, and goes back to Quill for help, which I was so happy to see, because Quill was the Ugnaught that helped him in the first episode. He was such an interesting character. I kind of knew he was going to be in more scenes and in more episodes, but to see him come back and be like, hey, so I just got my butt handed to me by a bunch of Jawas. They stripped my ship. I'm stuck here. And Quill's sitting there like, you know what? The Jawas don't steal to destroy. They just steal to sell. And so, you know, we're going to go get your stuff back and try to reason with him. And that's the pacing that I like the super high action and then down into a little bit of development. We see Baby Yoda eat a frog. Fantastic.
Oh my God. Baby Yoda running around with the frogs is another ultimate payoff. And then he eats them and then burps. I don't know if you hear that as well. Like, it really is like freaking incredible. And Quill is quickly becoming the most reasonable being in the entire galaxy. Like we spoke about in our previous video, like his just like very human elements, very welcoming elements of you're in this backwater planet. It really is like being in rural Australia and a samurai shows up or a Viking, and you're going to help the guy. And then like he's very blunt and honest as well. Like there's hard to find any fault in him. You know, I thought you were dead, he says, you know, like and he's made it back. And then he understands. He has a lot of compassion and empathy. But again, it's bluntness. It's really blunt sympathy and empathy. The Jawas just want to trade. So he takes them along to trade with the Jawas, to confront them. and then like the sit down with the Jawas is kind
so great.
of
Before they sat down, the Mandalorian said one line that I absolutely loved, because it plunged me right back into the culture of the Mandalorian. He says, you have to put down your rifle if you're going to come and talk to him. And he's like, I can't put down my rifle. Weapons are part of my religion. I'm a Mandalorian. I was like, yes, I want more of that. We're going to see more of that throughout the series. So, okay, he puts down the weapon, he goes and he sits down with the Jawas. What happens after that?
So by the way, the Jawas sitting down and having a little like kumbaya, like very kind of like definitely elements of like Afghanistan in there, you know, sitting down with the elders. However, these aren't like Afghans at all whatsoever. I just like, again, it was cool. So let's sit down. Let's have a sit down right here and cross our legs and have a sit down. And then he tries to speak Jawanese. Right? It is Jawa, and they laugh at him and they say, you sound like a Wookiee. Jawas know what Wookiees are. These are well-traveled beings. The imagination. I immediately started to think of like a kind of bosom buddies comedy duo spin-off of like the Odd Couple, like a Jawa living with a Wookiee. That just killed it for me as well.
And then the Mandalorian is all like, well, you understand this? And he legitimately tries to fry like 5 Jawas in front of him with the flamethrower, and they're freaking out. It felt a lot like Indiana Jones. It felt so perfect. And like the aggression of the Mandalorian, and the Jawas are just trying to be reasonable even though they just jacked him. It's just the chemistry is just on point.
It was also very Ewok capture-esque as well, you know, like get that stick out of my face, you know. It was really, really cool. And there's Quill playing like Peacekeeper, and then the Jawas chanting for the egg. I don't want to do it this justice. I haven't quite memorized exactly how they say it yet, though. Oh my God, man.
So they come to the agreement that he's not going to give them their armor for his parts back. He's not going to give him the Baby Yoda. They settle on wanting this egg from this creature that lives on this world. And we don't know why yet. And they're sitting there cheering. They're chanting egg in their language. And he's like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. The next scene of where the sandcrawler is traveling, you know, near the nesting area of this animal, you hear them chanting inside of the sandcrawler. Then you have that inside the sandcrawler view of the Mandalorian kind of crouched in this cramped space for the Jawas, and they're just looking up at him like, egg.
Like we're very he really does look at it like we're like, okay, so in comments down in chat, phonetically, how do we pronounce it? Okay, I can't believe we can't remember right here. In fairness, like due to the time difference, we film at odd hours. Okay, so my brain is eluding me right now. I'm gonna be googling it while we're talking, but my God, what comes next is like is pretty baller.
Yeah,
right. Like this is classic man versus beast. It had undertones of like everything that you want to see. Smog, the dragon, the eye opening underneath the like, oh my god. But seriously, it definitely had like an alien vibe to it as well, didn't it? And by
it
the way,
reminded me of that scene in The Phantom Menace where they're down in the little water transport and they turn on the light and there's that big eye inside of the ship. You know, they're like, oh my god. And the fact that the Mandalorian immediately, once he makes contact with this creature, starts getting his butt handed to him, I liked that. And it got down in the mud, too, which was so unique about the Mandalorian. It's very, very gritty. And they get down in the mud and start fighting while Baby Yoda is spectating from afar. And after he kicks the Mandalorian, throws him, 20 feet in the air, he goes after Baby Yoda. He did that thing, that DGAF. Mandalorian sweeps him to the side, and you can kind of tell Baby Yoda is he's concerned. It's almost like he's imprinted on the Mandalorian.
It's pretty rad, man. It's pretty rad. I still can't find the wording. Tell us how to spell it phonetically down there. We should have had that. I feel embarrassed now. But man, the big Ascend reveal. Like again,
well, before the big reveal of Baby Yoda, like he's trying his best to fend off this big beast. Flamethrower's not working, grappling hook's not working. There's a moment where the beast has pretty much defeated him, and he takes out his knife and kind of holds his head down like he's been defeated, almost like a samurai. You know what I mean? Yep. He's kind of accepted, this is it. This big thing defeated me. This is the way I go. And at that moment, what's the big reveal?
The big reveal, man. My God. Baby Yoda using the Force, to levitate this how many ton beast? Oh my God. This thing is the size of a bus, right? Like, my God, that was simply incredible. You had a feeling it was coming. My face was shock and smiling. I couldn't believe it, director. It was incredible. They framed it. Yes. They filmed it in such a similar way as in The Empire Strikes Back when Yoda is first lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp. There's that, strenuous, effort going into using the Force. And the Mandalorian looks at him like kind of flabbergasted, because I feel like, and they mentioned it a little later in the episode, I don't think they know what's going on. It feels like the Force itself is kind of known, but misunderstood. This baby is able to manipulate it in such a way to levitate a creature that's like, the size of a spaceship. It was very interesting. The one thing I was a little like, what, is when Baby Yoda puts it down and he kind of nicks it in the neck with this tiny little blade, and it's just like, bleh, Blah. Well, I feel as though like the Mandalorian knows how to kill. Okay, again, that's pretty badass. He knows what he has to do right there. What's interesting is that Baby Yoda, thank God, because it's the cutest sight in the whole freaking universe, falls into like a deep, deep slumber. So that exhausts him. Doing that does exhaust him.
He tuckered himself out.
He did tucker himself out. It's nap time for the rest of the episode for Baby Yoda after that, all right? But my God, it's hilarious. He comes back with the hairy egg. Is it Zuga? Is it Zuga? I want to say
Zuga?
Like
that
Zuga?
Scene too reminded me of Indiana Jones as well, when he comes back to the village in the Temple of Doom, and he like there's all these Jawas around him. He finally hands him the egg, and he's holding up the egg like it's some kind of relic, and they just pop that sucker open like it's their crack cocaine,
and they just start eating it, man. They're like Winnie the Pooh with honey, man. They're just like smashing it, going for it. And then what I love is like the next shot, which is like the sled that Kill has, taking the Mandalorian back with all of the ship parts, like just like put into this giant harness net. Like I'm like, his whole ship is like on the back of this sled now. It's hilarious. And then we get like, and I don't mind this, like then we get like a montage, which I'm cool with. Again,
of them rebuilding the ship, yeah. And in that, he's mentioning, like, Quill is asking, him to explain what happened, because they both don't really understand how the baby did what the baby just did. Like, with the Force and all of the lore that comes with it, it seems like it was very misunderstood by both of them.
Kill is, though, level-headed and open-minded about it. You can see he's thoughtful. I just love how pragmatic he is, and a shipbuilding montage is awesome. The way that they use their dialogue in that scene, too, is like, it's going to take a full factory and days to do this. And it's like, well, if you help, maybe we can get it done a little sooner. It's like he didn't even question, like, obviously I'm going to help you rebuild your ship. Like, he's the most
abiding thing that's ever existed in the galaxy.
Exactly, and again, showing like stereotypically why Ugnaughts were kind of effectively enslaved by the Empire, because they're fantastic with electronics and diligent workers, and just watch him work away. Take something, again, just like real world and tangible, like, yeah, the ship needs to be rebuilt and it's a pain in the ass. Use a classic episodic television technique, a montage, get through, and it's a little bit boring rebuilding the ship, but it's also kind of cool. It's kind of cool, and we all have like a tech savvy, DIY savvy friend who comes over and helps us build our computers. I think you are that guy, right? And knows exactly how to wire everything up beautifully, with your home theater surround, or can help you fix a car. We all have friends like this who just get stuff done, and you're like, that's remarkable. How the hell did you do that so quickly? And that's exactly what this dude is. And then
Will is the embodiment of your friend that owns a pickup truck. He will be there for everyone and anyone that knows he has a pickup truck. And we all love Jim, who owns the pickup truck. He's your best friend.
We do. And then we're hoping that this is like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. But for now, we think, as you say, goodbye, I have spoken. Goodbye, I have spoken. We feel like that might be the last we see of him.
I love that he offers him, though, because it's kind of vulnerable by the Mandalorian saying, like, man, like, you really saved my butt, man. Like, I got a job here for you on the ship. I will pay you very well. Come on these adventures with me in the galaxy. And he gets turned down. But what he says is that I've lived my whole life in servitude, so I don't have to serve anymore. Like, that is what it is, respectfully. And he says, okay, well, all I can give you is my thanks. She's like, and I thank you. I was like, that's a cool guy right there.
That is a cool dude, and he's just thankful that these bad guys are gone from the valley. In fairness, like the body count went up in episode 1 there. And look, that for me was pretty special. I feel as though as well, it kind of, what I like was it was a little bit unique. So all of these boxes that get ticked, these nostalgic boxes, this one right here actually decided, because that's normally how it goes. Like we recruit people along the ways. That's how the original kind of, originally Han Solo and Chewbacca are kind of recruited. We, find them and then they go off on this adventure. It decided to buck the trend a little bit. And it said, no. It's going to be Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. And then, of course, like up in space, the star field behind the sleeping Baby Yoda. You're putting that video together. I command you. I beg of thee, put it together so we can have just an hour looping of Baby Yoda so I can fall asleep at night. My God, there's this one kind of, it really is the two of them. It touches to like kind of like single parenthood as well, and like in this together, like the togetherness of those two. A bond has been forged now, where you already know there's no way this Mandalorian, for any amount of armor, is going to be giving up this Baby Yoda. Definitely not if any harm is going to come of him. So
that's the big question going into the next episode, because we've established how important Beskar is to this individual, but at the same time, the chemistry being built between him and Baby Yoda is quite powerful. So you can kind of foresee what's about to happen, but the way they're going to spin it is what I'm excited to discover as well, because we've seen some clips in the trailers to suggest a showdown might be coming, but where is Baby Yoda in this scene? Because obviously nobody knew about Baby Yoda before the fact. And I love the tough guy with innocent baby changing him from the inside out aspect of the Mandalorian. And it's a very touching and exciting way to experience what a Mandalorian is.
There is a character journey taking place here and a transformation taking place. Very RPG element. I love it. And even in a galaxy, a seedy underbelly galaxy that he populates, okay, where like he's just confronted with death and hostility everywhere, and not fantastic characters where he's very much alone. He's clearly comes from an honor system and a warrior code based society. Yet here's this individual who wants nothing other than to say thank you, in Quill as well. So that character will have a profound effect on him. And then the bonding that happens with Baby Yoda, who absolutely saved his life. He's been shown, there are other ways to look at the galaxy Jawas don't just have to be murdered to get your stuff back. You can trade with them. Okay. He's already shot IG-11 in the head to save Baby Yoda. Okay. So we're already seeing the transformation take place. I think it's going to be like very deep, very rich. I think there's going to be a fantastic payoff. And I can't wait to see what happens next. We got to wait a week. I love it though. It's torturous, but it's also beautiful.
Because we get all the speculation in the meantime. I will add in this note as well. The Clone Wars animated TV show for me changed my perspective on the prequels due to its masterful character development. Because in the Flat 3 trilogy, or the 3-movie trilogy of the prequels, you weren't given a lot to identify with the characters of Anakin and Obi-Wan. I mean, Obi-Wan was fantastic. There were parts that were really good. But I didn't really, truly love the prequel era until I watched the Clone Wars. And that was pretty much all Dave Filoni. And the way he's able to take character A and transform him all the way to character Z with a ton of development in between that you can both relate to and be entertained by. So seeing this happen in live action, I'm both surprised because it's in live action, but not surprised because of the masterminds behind the series itself. And I think, again, we're unfolding the same payoff that I once experienced in the Clone Wars and in Rebels as well. The character development is so masterfully done that I think just as a story alone, without all of the big visual effects and a lot of money behind the series, the story alone is going to carry this series.
Facts. Absolute facts. I freaking love it, man. My God, where are they off to next? They're off that planet. They're in space. They're going somewhere else now.
It feels like he's going back to the planet we saw in Chapter 1, and he's gonna have to face this dilemma, face to face, and decide what is the next step here, because he's got the asset. He obviously can't just take off with it, because IG-11's probably gonna come after him, in a different vessel or something, because he broke the rules. Technically, he's kind of in trouble with this bounty hunter guild, and technically he has the dilemma of, do I hand over the baby? If not, what do I do with the baby?
Interesting. Mystery abounds. I love it. It's been incredible.
Well, we still have a week.
Incredible.
We still have a week until Chapter 3, so I would love to hear your guys' speculations in the comment section below. Theorize with us. Maybe it'll make it into the next chapter or the next episode of our breakdown of Chapter 3 coming out Friday. Super, super excited. And that's all we've got for Chapter 2 of The Mandalorian. Again, guys, hit us up with your comments in the comment section below. Trumpet Monkey, what would you rate this episode out of 10?
Oh my God, 10? Are you giving it an 11? Turn it all the way up to 11, mate. All right, it's 10. It's 11 out of 10, and we're just gonna have to fill the next week playing Jedi Fallen Order, I guess, and discovering all the secrets.
It's so good. It's so good. Maybe a sneak peek at a future video here on this channel. Jedi Fallen Order might be one of the best Star Wars games I've ever played. And I'll leave you guys with that, guys. Excited to see Chapter 3 of The Mandalorian. We'll catch you guys next week. This has been Chris and Seaich. We'll see you guys next time. If you guys liked what you saw, hit us up with a like and sub. As always, stay frosty.